with you as you are, as you have to make peace with us as we are.
And you don't want to put the Palestinians on a diet, as Dov Weisglass suggested, the Prime Minister's advisor?
We don't suggest that ever they will become fat unduly, but a diet is not a policy. It's for the Palestinians to decide which way to go, what way to have. The only thing we demand is the end of belligerency, the end of missiles, the end of firing.
Let's take a question from the lady in the second row there, please.
10 years ago, if you remember, you paid a visit to Doha to attend the MENA conference. According to someone there, you said that peace will be forthcoming within 1 year in the Middle East. And that has obviously not occurred. So does your optimism cause you to ignore the reality of how difficult such a task is?
Are you ignoring the difficulties that lie in the way of peace?
No, I think we made a great deal of progress in the direction of peace. Look, more than half of the Palestinians, headed by Fatah, actually were in full agreement with them. What happened is that there arrived another, unfortunately, fanatic group, the Hamas, and they are holding back. But I think
Hamas have moved. Hamas have moved, haven't they?
Moved.
Hamas have said the problem is not that Israel is a reality, it's the problem that there isn't a Palestinian state. Khaled Meshal said that?
No, sir, you must be precise.
2 weeks ago.
No, you must be precise in your quotation. If Hamas...
He said it was a matter of fact that there will remain a state called Israel. The problem is not that there is an entity called Israel. The problem is that the Palestinian state is non-existent. That was his interview with the Reuters news agency.
Well, I read it differently. I don't know who translated it. But I read that the fact is that Israel is in the territories. He didn't recognize, and they refused to recognize Israel as a state. Would they recognize? Would they respect the agreements? We would negotiate with them.
Let's take a question, please, from Mohammed Tatir. Mohammed Tatir.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Peres, my family's home used to be in the area that is now Ben Gurion Airport. The right of return is physically not possible for us. Israel has consistently rejected the right of return for Palestinians. Would you now agree, at a minimum, for international arbitration to decide compensation for Palestinians who lost their land?
Israel will willingly participate in any attempt to compensate for any loss of home and land. We don't need any arbitration. We don't mind that this will be done by international body. Actually, we agreed. And I think there was a joint committee appointed, headed by Canada, to see for ways and means of compensation. And I represented Israel in that committee. We don't want anybody to suffer unduly unnecessary. It's not our aim. You must understand, ladies and gentlemen, I don't look upon you as enemies. Please don't look upon me as an enemy. I look upon you as people that will grow to make peace, and I'm a grown-up man who tries to continue the process of peace. Don't get it wrong. And I don't want to engage too much in a debate because, you know, when you begin to argue, you're a little bit exaggerating. But the basic will, the basic desire and destiny is to live in peace. You know, today democracy is not just the right of every person to be equal, but the equal right of every person to be different. Even if we are different people, we have to live in peace. Nothing will be achieved by war, but blood and suffering and waste of time and waste of youth. And that is my basic approach. So I didn't come here to win a debate. I really came here to let you know or understand that this is the basic desire of the Israelis. And we have shown it whenever we could.
Do you want to come back on that?
Thank you very much for your answer, but as you may know, many peace talks or negotiations collapsed because there was no agreement on the right to return. And we're not getting anywhere forward if there's no agreement on this right for Palestinians. How do you comment on that?
We handed over Gaza completely, and we're ready to hand over most, if not all, of the West Bank. So what does it show? And we are ready to sit and listen and look for creative solutions. The problem is that Fatah agrees, so we can sit with them, and Hamas does not agree to negotiate. That's the only problem.
Lady in the front row.
You mentioned that Israel should defend themselves. So are Palestinians. They should defend themselves either. So, and it seems the only way to do so for Palestinians to defend themselves is youth going up there and blow up themselves. You consider them suicide bombers and terrorists. We consider them brave. So, and the violence still going up and up. And so who are you blaming then? Palestinians, Israelis, both?
I don't blame anybody. I blame people that make out of themselves a bomb. And you know, you say we, I don't know who are the we. I read